Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Brunch with the Fellas, bringing you the latest trending topic news and entertainment. And before we do that, make sure to like and share this video. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Brunch with the Fellas. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always just getting it right with just entertainment, and we are the Brunch
Fellas.
Fellas. Peace, family.
Peace, fam. Got a few hot topics tonight. Various hot topics. Kind of somewhat jumping all over the place, but not too much. A lot of obviously a lot of things going on with the government, just in general, and somewhat in the military as well. But I'd like to first kick this off with we got some footage of the rapper Mystikal, a.k.a. Michael Tyler, also known as Michael Tyler, hailing out of New Orleans. I don't know if a lot of people know he did get arrested back.
Where's New Orleans? You mean New Orleans? The NOLA?
The NOLA. The Magnolia. But yeah, Mystikal, he got arrested back in 2022. So I guess he had a court appearance today, and we got some footage. Just kind of touching on him basically being locked up. He's not being released on a bond. He has no bond whatsoever. He's obviously been brought up on some rape charges, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I actually couldn't believe he's been in jail that long, and they're just now having a hearing on, his situation. But Pearl, if you could pull up some of this news footage that we got of his appearance this past Monday.
Yep, you want me to go ahead and roll this tape?
Yes, sir.
Team now, Michael Tyler, better known by his stage name Mystikal, faced an Ascension Parish judge today. He's been locked up since his arrest in 2022 on rape and domestic violence charges. Our Chris Nakamoto spoke to his family and has more on what they had to say in this. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good evening, Greg. His mom told me she's praying for her son, but family members and his longtime friend declined to comment further today. This is video of them exiting the Ascension Parish Courthouse just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. They were in court all day waiting to hear what a judge would do to update this case. He was wearing a bright orange jumpsuit as he sat there in court with the letters APSO on the back. Mystikal has been held without bond since his 2022 arrest on rape and domestic violence charges. He's entered not guilty pleas to those charges. Today, attorneys for all sides agreed they'll meet again next week to discuss future dates for the case. A gag order is in place in this case, which prohibits attorneys on both sides from speaking about it. A trial date and bond review date could be scheduled soon. For the WAFBI team, I'm...
Damn. So he don't even got no bond? He don't even have a trial date?
Nothing, man. Hell without a bond since his arrest in 2022.
2020. So he's been locked up for 3 years already.
Yep. I mean, that's about half of what he was locked up before. I don't know if a lot of our viewers remember he had some charges where he served like 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to sexual battery and extortion in 2003. And he was also accused of rape in 2017, but those charges were eventually dropped. So right now, it's unfortunate. He's facing a potential life sentence. If convicted on first-degree rape charge in his current case, he could face a mandatory life sentence under Louisiana law. It's crazy, man.
That's crazy as shit, Mystikal. Like, how he got a... Man, Mystikal.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. This is a Southern rap legend.
Yep.
I mean, when you talk about smoking songs, when you talk about, like, you got classic smoke songs, like I got 5 on it, Afro Man, Because I Got High. Yeah, there you go. What else you got? You got Mystikal, Still Smoking. Like, he got 3,
he
4.
always had a Smoking Bud song that was on his albums.
You got Rolling Down the Street, Smoking and Dope, Sipping on gin. I mean, so...
he's a Grammy Award award-winning artist. You know, he's a Grammy award-winning artist. He was one of my favorite rappers back in the late '90s or mid '90s, early 2000s. And then, honestly, he was at his height with his Tarantula, his last album he actually put out, that won him some Grammys. And then next thing you know, he's getting incarcerated for some stupid charge he got for, and it's not stupid, you know. Obviously, our prayers go out to the person that was a victim of that specific situation. If I'm not mistaken, I think he found out his accountant was stealing some money from him. He took matters in his own hands, and it got a little graphic. And so yeah, you thought he would learn his lesson. He did release a song in regards to this specific allegation too. He didn't. I think he might have released it before they arrested him in 2022. Excuse me. I think he released a track. It sounded kind of tight, but it was talking about this specific female trying to accuse him of this allegation that he's facing right now. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's crazy to talk about. This court date is pushed back. No guilty plea entered in the rape case. Just off the chain.
The way off the chain. It's Mystikal wrapped up in some Diddy stuff, but he ain't as big as Diddy, so it don't get the same light. The same.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's already a sex offender from his previous charge.
Mystikal was already a sex offender?
Yeah, he was already a sex offender from his previous.
That's crazy,
so
bro.
It's unfortunate once he did get out of jail after this first incarceration he had that lasted 6 years. He didn't go back into. He did some music here and there, but he didn't really. It ain't like what BG's doing right now. You know what I mean? BG's, you know, he's releasing albums and he released albums and being featured and, you know, doing his thizzle. He's back on the map. You know?
Yeah. Shout out to BG as well. But
shout out to go to BG. But it's just crazy but he ain't got that sex offender hanging over him. You know what I mean? So
I mean, forget about the music aspect of it. You know, I'm thinking more about like how, like, damn, bro, like, you know, when we look at being in the spotlight, being like you said, like, okay, BG, the new music. I mean, business wise and other things, just like how you conducting yourself as a person, like that's wild to me that I didn't even know what you just said, Just Entertainment, that he had a previous sexual offense charge, and then now he's back in jail for the same thing.
Yep, he was in jail. He's serving at least half the time now. Yeah, he got put in jail for 6 years after that 03 incident. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm like, man, like
that's why you never heard anything after he did Tarantula, his last album. You never heard anything after that. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, like after Master P and everything with Mystikal, I wasn't really looking. And he did his solo things, a couple of solo projects.
Right.
I wasn't looking for him there. No way after that either. It was somebody else out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he was working with Pharrell. You know, shake that ass, watch yourself.
At that age, yeah, like you know, it'd be new music come out, you hot, then you not.
Yeah.
But right now, this is, you know, like we said, you know, prayers go out to the victims and stuff like that, and prayers go out to Mystikal and his family, you know, because who know what type of trauma he dealing with that making him act out like that, you know. Yeah. But it's like he needs some healing too, for what he do, for what he, you know, for his accusations or whatever right now, but and his past transgressions, but damn, bro, I'm just like, damn, like this is wild. All these entertainers and rappers and stuff like that going through this stuff.
Yeah, man, it's I mean, you know, I was hearing about the Shay Shay thing again. You know what I mean?
They talking about Shay again? I thought he got that out.
How that girl, you know, she's 19, and I guess she had asked him to send $10,000 via Cash App, and he was like, "No, I'll give it to you when you get here." Then she wanted him to take a screen, like a picture of it. She was trying to bait him because apparently, I guess, you know, it's illegal.
She needed it in cash. She needed it in cash. So she
He
needed
said
him to take a picture of the money and send it to her. And
to
what she
her,
was going to
she
do,
was
report it to the IRS? Like, he
no,
got
like because
$10,000. He's Shannon Sharp. He can have
she was in
$10,000
Las
cash.
Vegas. She was in Las Vegas, and it's illegal for soliciting prostitution type stuff.
Oh, so she was going to use it to be like, this how much
Oh,
money he
he's trying
offered me to have sex.
Correct. Yep, she was trying to pay them.
Yeah, that's stupid anyway. She was dumb. If he was gonna pay her 10 grand and she ain't go, like, and she's a hoe, I mean, you just
Right,
missed
I heard
that.
that.
You know, I mean, what are we talking about here? You know,
Yeah,
because
man.
yeah, because for that to even be on the table, you know, then she was impersonating or imitating or portraying, you know, so a authentic woman of leisure would have went and got that money, you know,
Yeah,
because they knew that he had it, and it was almost guaranteed. It wasn't a roll of the dice. So, you know, I don't think she should. My other mind is she shouldn't put herself in that situation. But if that's how she rolling, then I'm gonna be like, hey, you know,
right.
what are you doing? Are you doing it? You know, are you doing it for the money, or are you doing it for some other, you know, play? So
Well, moving right along. Well, after this, that like I said, this mystical thing is kind of short lived. I guess we'll see. You know, keep our ear to the ground on this case as it unravels. It's already been 3 years, and there hasn't been any movement other than this. That's why it spoke to me to bring it up, because I hadn't heard anything until now, and it kind of piqued my interest. We have some footage, Pearl, right? If you could, from Fox News. We have a chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's reporting on the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's overhaul of the U.S. Coast Guard. And if you would bring up this clip, it kind of just talks about where the government is, or at least the current Department of Homeland Security Secretary is with the Coast Guard, and trying to revamp and actually modernize the Coast Guard, even though it has been through quite a few modernization efforts in the last 2 decades.
you think of quite a few.
Right.
You want me to roll the tape? Just.
Mm-hmm.
The Secretary of Homeland Security is calling for major changes to the United States Coast Guard. Kristi Noem says the service's readiness crisis is at its worst in decades. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin has more.
Look at them guys.
I directed the service to begin the largest transformation since the modern formation of the service was established in 1915.
Addressing Coast Guard commencement, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced the overhaul, Force Design 2028. The goal is to cut the number of Coast Guard admirals by 25% and expand the fleet.
Those needs represent the biggest Coast Guard readiness crisis that we have seen since World War II. Many of these ships are old, they're outdated, they have obsolete technology.
The overhaul will increase the Coast Guard, which has been understaffed due to a recruitment and retention crisis, by 15,000 members over 4 years, institute a physical fitness test, and increase the number of Arctic icebreakers needed to protect U.S. interests as the polar ice cap melts and great powers race to reap the benefits.
These are complex vessels. They will provide the U.S. with the capability we need to assure and protect U.S. sovereignty in the polar regions.
Unlike other military branches, the Coast Guard is not based at the Pentagon and falls under DHS with a Homeland Security mission, creating a feeling at times of neglect. Force Design 2028 aims to fix that, establishing a civilian service secretary to lead and set a strategic direction, just like the Army, Navy, and Air Force have. Quote, the Secretary of Homeland Security has directed the U.S. Coast Guard to develop a plan for establishing a potential Secretary of the Coast Guard to support the president's focus and alignment on border security and immigration enforcement.
The Coast Guard has 43,000 active duty members and 8,000 reservists. This year, it has recruited more than 4,700 new members, exceeding its recruitment goals by 108%. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin.
Go Coast Guard.
Semper Paratus.
Simple Paratus all day, always ready. Yeah. Like you said, just entertainment. I mean, they've been planning to do things and modernizations, and they've been changing. But I will say this, I will sidebar this. That is the most attractive DHS secretary that I've seen, at least under my tenure. I've never seen one that attractive. You know.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
if
As well as articulate. So
you know, if we see the beauty exude into the leadership, we might be winning. We might be winning. We might see the Coast Guard go into a whole, more positive direction. Because I don't know what modernization is other than the machinery. The machinery definitely can be modernized. We can definitely use some new.
They need some new infrastructure.
Yeah, we can definitely use some new toys, some new boats, some new, some new decks, some new stuff. Yeah, we can use all of that. But I don't know with that personnel issue though. They said they did 108%. And they said that we was at 50, 53, or what they said, 43,000.
And 8,000 reserves.
Okay. So we have 51,000. And they just said they increased recruitment
by 108.
Okay, so what did that mean? Because I know you used to be a recruiter. What would that mean?
That just means that they're over full capacity at their offices. They have a lot of recruiters that probably sharing desks.
You said they shared desks.
Yeah, it means they're probably sharing desks, and this over capacity where recruiters trying to recruit people. But unfortunately, the way the recruiting is with all the services, they have this. I guess you could say medical software that's nationwide. It's called Genesis. They can look up pretty much anything you didn't, put on a pre-screen as far as you having a medical condition. This software can find it if you leave it off of your pre-screen, and that's what's preventing the services from putting individuals in because unfortunately you got to be at 100%, health, and you can't be on any prescriptions. Don't get me wrong. When I was a recruiter for the Coast Guard for 6 years, I did my very best to get people waivers on things I knew that they would waive and provide, specific supporting documentation to support bringing somebody in that obviously had good character. I didn't just bring anybody in or willing to waiver, but
I hope not.
They met the prerequisites. I'm just saying now it's even tougher because if you lie on your pre-screen, medical pre-screen paperwork, and they find it, then obviously you're going to get disqualified and you won't be able to proceed. And so that's what they're running into is a lot of individuals on specific prescriptions because you can't be on any prescriptions. That's, anywhere from ADD, ADHD, Adderall, things that you people use in college for focus as well. Narcotics is just, unfortunately, it's the world we live in. And it's just tough to get people in. And I'll be honest, I think some of the youth, or at least the Gen Z generation, is not interested in the military by any means. Everybody's going back to the traditional. I want to go to school. I'm going to go on campus and live the, college life and have that experience under my belt. And that's where a lot of kids are at. They just lack the interest. And I don't know other than, all the bonuses that are offered for specific jobs that, all the services offers, if that's enough, sometimes, so that's why another reason the National Guards and the Air National Guards get a lot more people because they offer better educational benefits and it's part-time and, individuals can go to college basically for free.
Right.
Our active duty service counterparts, we don't do that. And so there's a lot of caveats to why people aren't coming in, and it's just crazy. They reopened offices that were closed down in big cities like Pittsburgh and Buffalo, New York, they're reopened these offices that normally, for example, like Cleveland, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio, would be, recruiting way outside of their immediate, city. They would be recruiting in these two different states. Or, hey, you might have somebody in Columbus recruiting in Michigan and Indiana, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And even with them modernizing, I think the piece I took from this with the whole Secretary of the Coast Guard, that sounds like an excellent idea. It sounds like a large workload for Department of Homeland Security secretary that's in charge of an entire organization to also be in charge of a military service on top of that, because there's no other secretaries doing that, or being in charge of different agencies. Oh yeah, and by the way, you're in charge of an entire military force. That's crazy. So I get it. Yeah, they need to align the Coast Guard with all the other military services and have their own secretary. You know what I mean? I don't know if that
Well,
would.
they do. They have the admiral and the command Master Chief Petty Officer, and those people liaise.
Well, that's just the head of that military. Yeah, and all the other services do too.
Yeah, those people are supposed to have their ear to the ground and understanding but
they're saying like they have a secretary.
How that goes.
Secretary of the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she was saying. They have secretaries for each service, and they don't for the Coast Guard. They have a civilian secretary that's in charge of an entire department. But
look, DHS has a whole umbrella. So like, who else is underneath DHS? TSA.
Yeah, right? Yeah. FEMA. You got
CBP. CBP.
Yeah, Customs. Yeah.
So that's just that task for that department,
right?
For that organization, right? And that's why I said like it sounds good. Like that's like I'm not teasing. And none of the other men that were secretaries of the Homeland Security was attractive to me, but using that, just saying like, okay, yes, she looks good. I'm not saying she all beauty and no brains because she up there,
right?
But what I'm saying is like I understand that she has the Coast Guard. She has the responsibility of TSA to have whatever departments and executive people of that have to go back to it with all these new things that's coming. So that's why I'm just like, okay, I believe that we're going to get some new toys because we're going to get the budget for it.
Right.
All right. But when I'm talking about, when we say modernization, that's just not just changing the bulkheads. That's also like some of the policy structure within, the quality of work environments,
right,
type things, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that those things will be on the top of that list. Mm-hmm. So, so those things will come later on if they even get there. But, getting new toys and stuff, yeah, we'll get that because the budget is there. So that's why I'm like, the speech is good and it needs to be had, but then we need to see the action that follows, and being somebody who cares about that, from being a veteran, of the Coast Guard. Like, I know that even if we get some new toys, it's still some things we need internally that will be beneficial too. And right. I don't know if that is part of the modernization as well. Because like you even alluded to, the younger generations who think a little different, who have a different mindset about things. So if some of those core things structurally within, take the shape, then that facilitates them to be able to come in and absorb the mission and go and accomplish things, you know. But if that environment doesn't facilitate that, then it's like you say, it's going to be an uphill battle with trying to get that recruit. Even though they said they had 108%, you reached 100% of what your total was, your requirement for the year, and now you have an 8% waiting list.
Right. I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, they've at 108%. It's easy to just throw out something, but we reviewing, breaking it down. It's all good. Shout out to the Coast Guard, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Custom Border Patrol,
Right.
state troopers. Who else? We got the reservists, the National Guard, Air National Guard. Who else we got in there? We got what's the folks' name?
Patrol.
The Space Force, and the United States Public
Yeah,
Health
we forgot
Service.
about that.
Yep, Space Force. That's what I'm trying. They
Mhm.
be over there playing with Elon.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
And
I mean,
and the Public Health
on
Service.
to
We need them too.
yeah, we do. I mean, we didn't throw the Merchant Marines in there either, but
The Merchant Marines. We can't forget y'all, Merchant Marines. Keeping that product coming safe across the waters, across the seas.
right. Exactly. 3 months at a time. Well, Pearl, if you would you bring up this ad? I have this ad I want us to watch. I haven't watched it yet. I started to watch some of it. It did pique my interest. It's called "Watch the Pentagon's New Anti-Woke Ad: No More Gender Confusion." I started to watch it, but I said, you know what? I'd like to save it for this segment.
Let me tell you something. We was just talking about something. I don't know. And I ain't even watched this yet. I don't know. You want me to roll the tape? You want me to roll the tape?
No
Yes,
more
sir.
distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
Is it more?
That's it.
What's this? This boot camp.
Check static line. Check static line. Check equipment.
Oh no, this not boot camp.
Okay.
Everybody ranked in here. Oh, jump school.
1 minute. 1 minute. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Like go. Like go.
Interesting.
Where the fuck do I go sign up right now?
So you can jump on
Man, I'm just
So you
saying
jump on the
that
break.
was look after the whole like okay, so if I was younger, and you know, in our culture, you know, they got the whole gender trigger is a trigger word, right? After that, if I wanted to get into some action, like I was sold.
Yeah.
You know,
I wasn't sold on that little jump video they just had though.
no, but I mean, you still would be kind of curious, like what's going on with that, you know. But I mean, after they said the little gender word, that you know, be if that didn't trigger the person, then they like, oh well, I don't really care about that. I want to go blow some shit up and you know do everything that he was talking about us doing,
Right.
being strong, peace through strength and all that. You know, then yeah, that's just one dynamic of it. But I understand like the propaganda of it. Okay, and like propaganda is not a negative word. It's just it's like what it's being used as. So I understand like the message that it sends. And when you talk about the military, is the military supposed to be a place where everybody laying around reading books and shit, doing yoga? No. That's not what the military is supposed to be. So if you don't show it as things that you could potentially be involved in, like real life situations of war, then you kind of doing a disservice to the people that you asking to come and make that type of sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I'm a veteran. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all the. I was just watching the action. Some of the words
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you know, just because of my age now, like I'm not all caught up into the words and like, oh, we're gonna be this and that. Because you know, you win some wars, you lose some wars. Everything ain't always a win. You know, sometimes it's about learning the learning lesson. You
Mhm.
know, and that's what you gain in it. Even if you feel like you lost, what did you learn? If you ain't learn nothing, then you know, you probably just wasted your time. You're probably gonna have to go through that again in your life. You know, but if you learn something, then you win. Especially if you realize, like, I don't want to go through this anymore. So then
Yeah.
you're gonna do something different. You know, so that's a learning lesson. You got to gain some knowledge, move on, be thankful. You get another day to practice being better at whatever it is that you decide. So
Agreed. I
I
agree
like
with
the
you,
I
man.
like you know, like I think the video is hype as shit though, you know, like
Yeah.
you got somebody
I like the
young.
beginning. I don't know what that was at the end, but with the jump school, whatever that was.
Yeah,
That was
just
the
look like jump
exercise.
suit. Yeah, just going through an exercise, that's all. Little training exercise. Something to get everybody, you know, get them. I want to do that. What is that?
Right.
You know.
So did you know it was National Burger Day today, man?
No, Dr. Smash. I did not know.
I didn't know until I was asked if I was open today with my smash burger business. But yeah, today is National Burger Day. Unfortunately, I don't open up on Wednesdays because it's my prep day for my smash burger business. But we have some footage, Pearl, you're going to be bringing up here. It's from a company called Not a Damn Chance Burger. It's a Wagyu cheeseburger collaboration between a professional skateboarder, Neen Williams, and Michelin-starred chef Philip Franklin Lee. So let's take a look at this video, if we will. Looks like they're in Chicago. Just before you start, looks like they have locations in Austin, Chicago, New York, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Denver, Colorado.
Damn, but they all over. And what's the name of this burger? Not a damn.
It's Not a Damn Chance Burger.
Not a
NADC.
damn
That's what
chance.
NADC. Not a Damn Chance Burger. Wagyu cheeseburger.
Man.
But it looked
In
interesting
honor
to
of
me.
National Burger Day, co-founder Neen Williams joins us now to share a taste. Hey, glad to see you.
Thanks for having
Welcome
me.
on
Yes.
back. How are you?
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, today's gonna be a busy day for you. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a burger ready for you today.
Okay, thank
All right?
you. You know, because I made a special request. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I don't want to mean to be extra, but
No sauce, right?
all right.
So, yeah, why does smash burgers become so popular?
I mean, I think it's just smash burgers have been around forever.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of caught wind recently on like social media and stuff.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you'll see what you notice with our smash burger is we don't actually call it a smash burger. We call it a burger because we don't do the viral smash where it's like a paper thin,
Yes.
crispy thing. So we actually do the prep.
Dr. Smash, is that cap or is that real? What he just said. Is that real or is that cap? What is he talking about?
I'll be honest, the way he does his burgers, it's still a smash burger, and that's the way I do it. I don't smash it paper thin, and I don't use wax paper because I have a nonstick griddle that Blackstone makes that's 500 degrees, and I do use a smasher like he used. It looks like he was using an all metal smasher, but yeah, whatever his is looks good. I mean, and that meat that he has, the Wagyu meat, has a higher fat content. You're talking about like 70% lean, 30% fat. So he's got a higher fat consistency in that meat. But even the way that his burger looks, I still consider that a smash burger. It's just not paper thin. You know what I mean?
Just not paper thin. Okay.
Yes, sir.
To get that nice crust on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually, we smash it to about the thickness of your finger because this is actually 100% Wagyu.
Right.
So we want to keep the integrity of the meat. We want to almost cook it to about a medium,
Okay.
medium well, so it's still very juicy on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And they cook so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cooks really quickly.
What's the fat to lean meat ratio on this?
She's about like 70-30.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a little bit more fattier than like a normal beef. Also has like a lot of flavor to it too.
Mm-hmm. So what's the secret to making your burgers like everybody just raves about them?
Our burger is like, we spent a lot of time working on balance with our burger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to just all work together with the ingredients that we use, the high quality beef, and then the attention to detail, right? Just how much seasoning's on there, how toasted the bun is, the sauce. The sauce is super good. I know you don't want the sauce, but the sauce is amazing.
Okay.
Pickles to help cut through the acidity, cuts through the fat of the Wagyu and the cheese and the sauce. So it gives you a perfect balanced bite every bite. So right here, I flipped it over with some onions.
I love that. It's getting some of that fat in
and
there.
it's just finishing the cook, kind of like steaming it with the onion juices.
Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
Adding more flavor, adding more juice to
And I
it.
see you have your own seasoning.
Yeah, so this is our own seasoning blend from Neen Williams Co. It's my company. I started a long time ago. But we use it on the burger to kind of give it a little bit more oomph, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can people buy that seasoning?
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can. Okay,
Mhm.
fantastic. And I love your story. How you guys started out. That you started out just handing out burgers.
Yeah, we started off just like fun, kind of like a fun thing to do. Me and Philip, my partner.
Yeah.
Is that a flag on the play? That looked like some American cheese. That looked like, is that what that is?
It's American.
That's plastic. That's oil. That ain't no real cheese.
You don't think?
That ain't no, I know. Let me say that. You go look at what it say on the pack. If it says cheese product, that is not cheese. He said that's a Wagyu burger, right?
Right.
I can't believe they putting that on there. Maybe that's not that.
Putting what?
American cheddar, American cheese.
I would put American cheese on it.
You talking about the one that say processed?
No, the cheese I put on mine is not. It's an American cheese, but it comes from a reputable brand. It's, you know what I mean. It's a good cheese.
That looked like, okay,
but
I believe you, Dr. Smash, but that looked like some cheese that
looks like a Kraft cheese.
That looked like a piece of cheese that you pull some plastic off of.
Correct.
Yeah.
That don't look like the cheese off the block.
That's all I'm saying. That's all.
That actually go back a little bit on that.
Let's go back on that.
I need to
just a
watch
little
what you
bit.
saw. Let's
Let me
see
go
what
mo-
you. Now I know what you're saying. You're talking about some Kraft cheese BS.
That's what that looked like. That looked like.
That looks like a Kraft cheese slice out of a plastic. You're right. Now I got what you're saying. That don't look like it came off the Land O'Lakes block like I use.
Yeah, like that don't look like that. I don't know. It just looked like.
Actually, the Land O'Lakes I have is thicker than that. The Land O'Lakes I have American cheese is thicker than that.
You know, I didn't handle some cheese in my day, so you know.
Did we see him take it out of some plastic?
I mean, he could have prepped and not had it in plastic. He on the show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know.
Yeah, it looks like the plastic.
Because don't get me wrong. He is describing, and I've never heard nobody as eloquently talk about a burger. Okay, but I'm just saying it could be cooking something different than what he actually describing. That's all I'm saying. Because that right there looked like American cheese. That looked like, you know, and I would have thought he would have hit him with some Colby Jack or some Gouda, some Munster. I thought like this, like you talking about a Wagyu burger. I'm thinking
he's
like
talking about expensive meat. I get what you're saying. Like me, my 88% lean, I'm putting the American. Now Wagyu, if I was doing a gourmet burger, you're right. I might throw a smoked Gouda. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You know,
on that expensive meat, not
on that expensive meat. Yeah.
Let me throw a cheap American cheese slice on there. I wouldn't even put cheddar on there because I don't think it would give it the consistency it needed. Now Gouda, I mean, hell, I would have even thrown in a Havarti, some type of deal.
Havarti, yeah, why not? You know,
yeah, Havarti,
pepper jack.
What about a monster?
I put a monster. We on that. We on that. That's what I'm saying. Like anything Swiss, he could have twisted.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
I mean, I would rather him put a pepper jack on there.
What the one of them. But that right there just looks, I don't know, it looked like
plastic cheese.
Velveeta. I'm gonna run the tape real quick. We're gonna let him finish because it sounds like we hating on him a little bit, but we got some experience with this thing, you know. DBCHEFTV and Dr.
You're
Smash.
a technical expert and cook.
We're gonna run it back. We started off just like fun, kind of like a fun thing to do. Me and Philip, my partner.
Yeah.
We were just like, hey, you want to make some burgers this weekend? Like pop up at a festival and just make some burgers. And we would just buy 50 double burgers, the same burger, and just give them away for free.
That's a Michelin star, isn't it?
Yeah, he has 2 Michelin stars at 2 of his restaurant concepts.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like really, really good. But this isn't a Michelin star burger. It's supposed to remind you of like your childhood.
I love that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be about the balance.
I love it.
Did you season the meat before you start cooking it, or is it?
That might be American cheese. That might be that might be Kraft. He said if this is supposed to remind you about your childhood, then that's what we ate. We was always taking off plastic off the cheese at the barbecue. So
You're letting the meat stand on its own?
I seasoned it after I smashed it.
After you smashed it.
Yeah, after I pressed it.
Okay. All right.
So
so you have kids burgers coming up now on the menu.
Yeah, so we have a new restaurant in Wicker Park. It's on Milwaukee as well. So the kids burger is just a single patty with cheese and bread. Just something to make it easy for our kids because we saw a lot of families coming in.
Yeah.
And we only had the double burger for them, and you know,
Kids
for a little kid,
Yeah.
it's about 50 grams of protein in each burger. So
okay.
it's a lot of protein for a little kid.
And that's something you're aware of because you're also a personal trainer.
yes, exactly. So yeah, I'm very I pay attention to like how much protein's in stuff and all that.
Okay.
You know, so we wanted to make something smaller and so.
Look, where my man Gloves at though?
I know I saw him that when he was wiping his hands that too. He didn't have no nitro gloves on, which I wear, black nitro. yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm just like, man, okay. But what's the name of they thing, Just Entertainment? Because we don't want to see the burger when it's done. We already saw what the burger looked like.
Not a damn chance.
Not a damn chance. And they have a lot of locations. So if they like that, man, go check out Not a Damn Chance Burger. Celebrate National Burger Day right here with the original authenticator, founder, member, president, scullery worker, prepper, Dr. Smash, Smalley Smash Burgers in the building. Yeah, but get to Cleveland and get y'all one. Get to Ohio and get y'all some for real.
I just read up on this Michelin star. It's one of the most prestigious awards in culinary world given by the Michelin Guide, a restaurant and hotel rating system that originated in France. So he said they had 2 Michelin star restaurants or whatever. Anyway, I'm saying it's, just basic criteria of, food quality, mastery of technique, personality of the chef and the cuisine, value for the money, consistency. I'm kind of interested in what that entails and what you got to do.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. Never heard of that Michelin star.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar with that. Yeah, I knew when he said it was all good. But I mean, if you open and you sell enough burgers, you can get one.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, sell a burger to the right person. Let people come through, So, yeah, I get it. But salute, man. We love to see our people making strides, entrepreneurs, man. Like, don't take that as no slight. Like we love salute to them. Not a damn chance burger. Keep on doing what y'all doing. But I'm a little biased though. I gotta, I'm always honest. I got Smalley Smash Burger, Dr. Smash in the building. So we need a Michelin, or
yeah, I'm trying to get, what do I need to do get a Michelin star? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need that.
I'm trying to see what that'd be like.
For real.
Well, that's all I have tonight, unfortunately. It's kind of obviously a little bit more government/military oriented tonight, but I'll be honest, a lot of the news is either that or we're just hearing bad news about trials and tribulations with celebrities. And that's other than all of the other, platforms like TikTok and news feeds on newsreel or just reels on Facebook, Instagram of just other, individuals trying to build their content on those social networks. But yeah, that would conclude any of the subjects, or at least interests I had for this evening.
For sure. Just Entertainment, where we always thank you for bringing these trending topic news and entertainments like we do. We hope we entertained y'all and y'all got some value out of this show this evening. Make sure to like and share the video, and also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Brunch
with the Fellas.
And I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always just getting it right with
Just Entertainment.
And we are the Brunch Fellas, and we will see y'all next time we go live. Peace, family.
Peace, family.
Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.